I think one of the lessons we learned is in creating expectations in the beginning. Let me give you an example. In Montgomery County, like Fairfax, like Arlington, our first priority is going to primary and secondary roads first, getting them to bare pavement so that our emergency vehicles can actually move. That takes 2 days all by itself before we even begin to get into the neighborhoods. Our public wasn't aware, in my judgment, sufficiently of that. So they expected after 2 days, I'm out of here. No, after 2 days, we began getting to you. So I think part of what local government has to do is make it very crystal clear in these types of situations, it is going to take us a while. And snow of this magnitude, Kojo, it isn't just plowing. In the down county, you can't just plow this. You have to remove it. You have to have front-end loaders. Yes. So it isn't simply just get a plow down the street, because if you get a plow down the street in a residential area in the down county, you're going to be putting it on people's yards. And in our county, we had 80,000 people without power. I was without power for 2 days and couldn't get out.
Does that explain your looks now?
That's right. Power. I was without power and was without heat and couldn't get out of my neighborhood. That creates a certain amount of panic. People, it was 40 degrees in my house. We were seeing our breath. There were people in our community out of power for a week. One of our lessons learned is we have to be able to coordinate with PEPCO from the get-go in these kinds of emergencies so that we have plows at their disposal so they can get into the neighborhoods where there's power out, because that's life-threatening. That's not about inconvenience.
Yeah. Allow me to quote Steve Pearlstein of the Washington Post, columnist, both for you and for Roger Berliner. He said D.C. Mayor Adrian Fenty and Schools Chancellor Michelle Rhee may have been foolishly optimistic in thinking they could get the district in shape to open for business earlier this week, but their determination to set higher standards for public services is a refreshing change from the elaborately rationalized defeatism of other local public officials. What he means by the defeatism, Roger Berliner, is that he feels that political officials, elected officials in this area, don't have the political will to tell the truth. The truth being that if you want things to open earlier in this area, we're going to have to raise more money to do this, and to raise more money, we're going to have to raise taxes, and people are simply not going to want to pay more taxes so that they can get more efficient snow cleanups.
And let me say, I read that column, and I was very intrigued by the column. And it was one of the few times that I would disagree with Mr. Pearlstein on this narrow point. I don't think you budget, and I don't think my county should budget, and I don't think the state should budget for an epic storm. If we are going to have the capacity to immediately address an epic storm, it will, in fact, cost a lot of dollars. And those are dollars that right now we need for other essential services. So I think what has to happen when you have an epic storm, people have to have a little more patience. And that's not to say that the county did everything right. It's not to say that the state did everything right. There's human error. We missed a lot of cul-de-sacs in Montgomery County. There are streets that simply were not plowed that should have been plowed. Shame on us. We'll learn from that.